Good, because I was already.
There it goes.
All right.
Are we? We're live.
We're live.
Hi.
In our pretty aprons.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. We're in our spacesuits, is what I always think
right.
we look like, right? So we're going to do a combing or a raking in a couple of kilns today. Actually, we're going to do it in 2 kilns if we can. And we got this little kiln, this little 8-inch even heat kiln ready to go. It's actually
hot.
Really, really hot. So probably a little hotter than what we normally would have taken it, but sometimes it's hard to calculate how much time it's going to actually get up to temperature. We wanted it to be up to temperature when we were going live, so it is beyond temperature, I might say.
Well, what is the temperature of the glass that we really want it to be, though? Over 17 or over?
Yeah, we want to be, so if you're new to this sort of combing or raking technique, we're trying to get the glass pretty fluid, right? So we're trying to make sure that it's easy to rake into. And so I think Val and I both agree that we usually get up around 1700 degrees is the goal here. And I can tell you that the tricky part is getting the glass to 1700, because we can get the kiln up there, but the glass takes a while to catch up. So when you're reading the parameter, the device on your kiln that's telling you the temperature, it's telling you air temperature inside the kiln the entire time. And so what we did on this kiln, if you're curious, we told it to go as fast as it could go. So full would be like the program, and then we told it to get up to over 1700 degrees, and so it can do that in about an hour or less. Yeah. But the glass isn't quite there. We actually turned this on. I turned this on almost an hour ago, right? Yeah. And then it is about 100 degrees hotter than what we really wanted it, but it'll make the raking easier.
Just make him have to talk faster.
That's right. I'll have to talk faster than I normally do. That'll be fast.
But we were going to show you the setup first, just to kind of show you. Can you do that?
Yeah, we can show you the setup. So if you're familiar with fusing, you know the 1/4 inch rule, right? Glass likes to be a 1/4 inch when it's molten, and I can tell you at 1700 degrees, it really wants to be a 1/4 inch. So we try to stay at a 1/4 inch. So our setup here is, I'll just slide these a little bit if you can see. So we start on a piece of clear glass on the bottom, and then cut strips and put them on. We could have just stacked the strips so they were a 1/4 inch high, but this saves you a little bit of colored glass, right? I mean, there's no reason to, Val and our experience has been that you don't really need to do a full 1/4 inch of the color. It's kind of a waste of the color, to be honest, right? And so instead, we start with a base. In this case, it happens to be clear, right? We put a clear base down here and then put the strips on top of that. And then, I don't know how well you could see this, it's on when I'm working in these little kilns, we'll work on 1/8 inch fiber paper. You can see the thickness of the fiber paper here, and the reasoning is because we're going to dam this inside the kiln. And a lot of times, I think Val and I do this the same way. We don't always dam them a whole lot. I don't know how. I don't think it's that critical that we dam the piece.
No, like this big one up here, you can see, and then this green and black one, they weren't dammed. So when you rake them, they do tend to become a little organic because they don't keep a solid straight edge shape. But often later on, like the one with the blue border, what you can do is a tile saw the get straight edges and then put borders around them, or you just leave them organic like that. So, but this is the one way to keep it from spreading out when he rakes.
You could use kiln post, or if you have a ceramic shelf that you've cut into strips, or you can buy dams. So if you're really trying to keep the shape, you can certainly do it that way. Here in the small kiln, we're damming it just because there's not a lot of space in there. We don't want the glass to go somewhere we don't want it to go.
Yeah, this shelf is as much room as we have.
Yeah, so you can see we only have this much room. So I'm creating a dam using the 1/8 inch fiber paper. And all I'm using here are just some pins, right? Some straight pins. I'm just coming in. So this is the reason why we are working on the 1/8 inch kiln, 1/8 inch fiber paper, is that it gives me something to pin into is really the main reason.
You don't probably really have to pin all the way around it.
Oh, for demonstration purposes?
Yeah, I think they probably get it.
You don't think they got the whole thing?
Well, you can just say, you do go all the way around, but the process is the same. Put a pin in, go around the corner, go around the corner.
The only thing about the pins is you don't want the metal pin touching the glass is the only thing. So pin into hopefully you can see I'm pinning into the fiber and not into the glass. And then, as Val pointed out, I guess you don't need to see the whole thing. But if you do, or if you have questions, feel free to reach out, ask us questions. You can comment in the section below. You can always email us at Facebook at delphiglass.com, or you can message us at Instagram or
Oh, good.
all
You're
those
getting good at that.
various
Nice.
social media things. Thanks, sweetie.
So talk a little bit about the linear. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes a difference. And some of these, go ahead, and then I'll turn this over, and they can kind of see how all these started with strips. These are the backs, right? So
Yeah, these are the backs.
So the reason is so that when you manipulate it or drag through it, you actually get some detail. If you had, one big block of 4 strips of the same color, you'd have to drag a long way to affect it. So
Yes.
depending on, I sometimes like a little thicker portion than other times, but
Oh, I had that purple piece that I pulled that through. That was similar to what you're
Oh,
talking about.
okay, okay.
Where anyways. Yeah, I guess it really just depends on what you're looking for. I know when Val and I were setting this up even, and her and I had a little difference of opinions about, the arrangement of the strips and how wide they need to be. It really is just a matter of personal preference. If you see this one, I like to point this one out because this is one of the early ones that I made where I used really, all I did actually was cut the glass into 1/4-inch strips and then flip them up on their end, and then you get these, really narrow 1/8-inch strips. But to me, they're just too skinny. And then, so when I raked it, I think I call it over raked, or right. I mean, you can hardly even see the strips and the individual colors. It gets a little too
yeah. And this
muddy
one,
looking.
this
or
one
so.
was thicker. And this
Yeah,
is
these
this
strips
is
are a little
fun.
bit
This
better,
I like
so-
this one.
Yeah.
But
So it
you
just
can
depends
tell,
on what you're
the
trying to
different, just going different color, it allows it to get the detail when you comb through it, as opposed to if you would use a big thick
And the
block.
other-
Same
oh,
with that
sorry.
one too. No. Same
The
with
other really nice thing is you don't have to cut perfect strips. I mean, I teach a class where we do this, and people like fret and fume about the strips. I mean, we're taking the glass to 1700 degrees and we're going to rake through it, right? No one's going to know if you cut perfect strips, if they were parallel or not. In fact, a lot of times, if there's gaps, sometimes I fill the gaps in with frit, sometimes I just leave them. Sometimes I just use pieces of a strip
Yeah.
and just put that in. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a solid strip all the way across.
It doesn't have to be the same color.
Or the same color even,
Yeah.
right? So
Or scrap too. Just,
Yeah,
mean,
good
if you
point.
just put chunks of scrap here and there, the idea is that when it's soft, you want to be able to pull through it so that it distorts and drags, and you can see the difference. So you could do it in a lot of different ways, but
Yes.
scrap would be a fun way to do it
yeah,
too.
oh, it's a great way of using up your scraps, that's for sure. So this one, it's just, I don't know, if you probably can't hear it running, but it's still,
It feels good though.
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
know if anybody doesn't live here in Michigan where we live. It is freaking cold here, so Roy and I are kind of excited
we're just
about
kinda
this.
hanging out by the
This is
film, right? It's a
we're
nice
both
way to
always
kind of-
cold, so this is
so
what we
we're
like.
like over 1700, I'm pretty sure, right? So,
Yes, just
yeah,
barely.
pretty hot.
We're
So
al-
I think
we've
we're
already-
going to go in and rake this one. So you'll notice, again, we're wearing these heat protective aprons. Might surprise you, but it's something that you can buy at Delphi. And they're great really for like keeping the heat off you. They do a really nice job with that. You'll see I have some safety glasses on. Sometimes we wear a face mask. I'm going to show you a face mask in a minute here or so. But I can tell you with these little small 8-inch kilns, it doesn't usually take a whole lot of safety equipment, to be honest. But never hurts
No.
to be safe, right? So
We're going to do a bigger kiln in just a little bit. This
Yeah,
is
we'll
really
show you.
why we have these on, because of
Yes.
the microphone situation. And
so,
so
okay, can you hand me that glove that's down there?
this glove,
Yeah. please. Thank
okay, but we're going to have to swap.
Yeah, we
remember?
got to swap out, right? So, the
How you
the table's a little high here, so I have a wooden platform I'm going to
Am I
stand
gonna
on,
be
so
in
you
your
can
way?
see like how much taller I am now. But so
Maybe
this is
over
just to make it easier for me to get into the kiln, right? The other thing you might notice on the right-hand side here, I have a bucket of water. I mean, really, that's mainly for cooling down the tool, right? This is a stainless steel rod that's been bent, and if it gets hot, the glass will start sticking to it. So I'm going to hopefully work quick enough that I don't get that to happen. But you might see me dip the tip into the water. One of the important things is I'm going to shut off the kiln, right? So we don't want any power going to the kiln while I'm reaching into there with a metal tool.
Right,
So
like
Val's
a
gonna,
fork in a toaster.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. That's
All right.
not what you want to do. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? Here we go.
Oh man, that
Can you get in there, Kaylee?
I can.
So the thing you want to try to do here is you want to just skim across the surface here.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'm not. See, oh, I got a nice little. That's good. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going back in. And you don't have to worry about the water. So The goal here again is to skim across the surface. Is
Right,
what you want to think of.
not dig in.
Dig down in, which I can tell you is really easy to do because.
You good?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that was probably pretty good. So what happens is, we shut the power off, and then as we open the lid, obviously we lose a bunch of heat from that, and it cools down quickly. Ours was really quite hot. We've mentioned a couple times. If this was 1,700 degrees, you probably would only get, you might get 2 rakes, like 2 kind of pulls through it, and that would be it. And then you would cool off the tool, close the lid, turn it back on, and let it heat back up. And I can tell you at this rate, it probably would take about 10 minutes to do that. But we
that was sweet.
we got the glass so
that
it
was so
pretty hot.
so hot. That was
so I'll mention real quick the risk of getting too hot. So some people ask, well, why not just go hot all the time, right? So the issue with going too hot is the simplest one is sometimes, especially warm colors, you can change the color of them. I don't know if you've ever noticed that yellow kind of shifts to orange, orange kind of shifts to red, red shifts to black.
when they're hot.
When they're hot. And then what happens sometimes if you get too hot, they don't always shift back as nicely as you might like them to, where your reds can end up kind of brownish. What definitely does happen is with especially warm colors that are transparent, they turn opaque. So an orange will turn opaque every time at these temperatures. The other thing, the other risk that we have of going super hot is you can actually start to interfere with the coefficiency of the glass, and so you can run into some issues later on just from doing that. But the amount of we're doing, the way we're going in and getting out quickly is really the key, kind of in this sort of thing. Yeah, do you want to?
You
show
can,
it to 'em
if
again
they
real
want to
quick?
look, it's still so
Yeah,
hot.
it's so
So
hot.
what is it? Does it read in 16?
Yeah, we're at.
16.
Yeah. So we're still within our range of being able to look. So are you ready?
What is the range of being able to look?
Well, you don't want to be opening this if it's so. I would say with this one under 1100 is what I usually say.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, ready, set, here we go. Ooh,
You don't want to melt your phone, Kaylee.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Can you see? Let me. If you see if you can see inside here of this real quick. I'm just going to open a tiny bit, but you see all the glowing orange, right? Because I don't know if you can even see the glass, but that tells us that the glass is still molten enough and it's fusing. So even though I raked it, I'm not worried about having all those ridges in there from raking it, because at that temperature, as long as the glass is glowing, it's going to settle back down. And I don't. Sometimes you have to turn the kiln back on just to settle the glass and get it smooth again. But
we were
yeah,
hot
we
enough.
were pretty
Yeah,
warm.
because you
so
did have a pretty good little
I did
follow out when you drew it out, but it's already down.
That's all right. Good.
Yeah, so
that
we're
was
good.
And then Kaylee will post a picture of this one if you want to see it when it's done. I'm not sure how exciting it's going to be, but maybe.
Oh, it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be good. So we'll
Yes,
probably
it is.
put it up for
It'll be on
auction
pins and
or
needles.
something. We'll have to try to sell that maybe. Okay, so we're going to go next door. A little bit larger kiln. This one's going to be a 17-inch kiln. We've done them as big as 24-inch kilns before, Val and I have, and then usually you got to wear all kinds of stuff. But we're going to show you some other things over there. I'm going to grab the bucket of water because I'm going to need that.
What else do you want? This or you using that
I'm
one?
just going to use this one. This
All right.
Jules did. Yeah, we'll come into our kiln room over here. Yeah, we're not raking in one of these huge kilns, right?
Do you want this? Are you going to wear this?
I'm not.
No.
But
But
I'll
the-
show it.
Okay.
So we're going to be raking in this little 17-inch kiln. And this particular one, made by Even Heat, we can open it a couple different ways, right? You can open the whole body, you can open up the lid, but the way it's kind of positioned, it's going to be easier for us to rake it if we just open the lid. And to be honest, it's also probably safer for the person that's opening it. So when you start working in a bigger kiln, in fact, even in that small one, it really helps to have a second person, there that can help you either shut the kiln off or open a lid. Because a lot of times when you're raking, you've got big, heavy, thick gloves on. In fact, I'm going to switch to a little bit bigger gloves. These are some Kevlar gloves that are rated to about 1,400 degrees, so which is really not going to be a problem. But I am going to be closer to the kiln because it's bigger. It gives off more heat, so that's really why we're wearing the aprons. Sometimes we'll wear even like a face mask. This is one that not something you can get here at Delphi, but if you Google around, you can find one. It is the nice thing about this particular one is rated to about 1,800, so it's really nice. But I've used ones that people use just in the welding world. If you're familiar with those they look very similar to this, and those work actually pretty well. We've done those before.
We had one that
Yeah. Well, one time I was using one. We were in one of the big 24-inch kilns, and I had one on that was for welding, and the plastic started to kind of, bend a little bit. It wasn't anything too bad. But,
No, it wasn't.
But that made us invest into this one.
But
which
you're
was a little
mentioning
more expensive.
safety and that kind of stuff and the reasons. But I think that if you're doing this, especially in a little bit larger kiln, like this is the 17-inch, so it's still not a gigantic kiln, but the amount of heat that comes out of that thing is, I think my point is it's just safer no matter why to have someone else around,
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
it's good.
just in case, you
Yeah.
have a little bit of an issue or something, you got someone, you got backup, which,
Yeah.
I think is kind of smart, so.
So this kiln, if you're curious, I turned this on at 7:30 this morning, and so you can see the temperature. And it really took that long since 7:30 this morning, and it's 20 after 1 here. So it took that long for it to get up to temperature. The little small kilns, if they're on a dedicated circuit, they can, like I was telling you in there, they can do them in about an hour. But these kilns, once you start getting to bigger, they'll heat up very fast at the beginning, but then every hour they just go slower and slower. So like it took like the last hour for it to go only like 100 degrees or a little over 100 degrees. But anyways, so this one should be good. I'm gonna Val's gonna get the lid for me with a lid lifter. I'm gonna stop it and then just go in.
So you tell me when you want me to stop opening, you tell me how open you want this.
Oh, I got you. Alrighty. This one's not going to be as fluid as the other one because
So we stopped it, right?
Yep,
We're
I
stopped.
stopped it.
We know that. Ready?
Yep, we're going to come in. And
Can you get in
see
here,
where-
Kaylee?
Yeah, you're good. That's good. I'm going to go in again. I'm going to try again. Oh, yeah, that's a little.
Nice though. This looks good.
So this is
You good?
yeah, I'm good for that, right? So then so we rake a couple times, then we would turn this back on, sorry, that's it. And then, so you can see how far it drops, right, in just those couple of minutes that we did that, 100 degrees, over 100 degrees. This one will take probably 15 minutes or 20 minutes to heat back up to 1700. So we're not going to rake again, because I'm sure you guys
Well,
will be
yeah, you
around for
guys-
20 minutes while we do that. But, and I don't know how closely you saw that this glove looked like it was smoking a little bit. This is a brand new pair of gloves, and they will do that when you first expose them to temperature. They're not going to catch on fire. It's not going to do anything weird like that. It's just the newness of them that kind
Yeah,
of does
but
that.
that's a good point. You should know the rating of the glove you're using because now this glove
Yeah, it's
really
not
doesn't
near-
have a rating much higher than just oven mitts,
Yes.
kitchen oven mitts. So
Yep.
this is more just to protect me from the heat, not that I would ever trust holding glass on it. So,
Yeah.
or not. These are pretty
Yeah,
good.
the Kevlar ones, like I said, this is rated at 1400, so it's pretty good. We're not gonna, I was nowhere near close enough to the glass to even to get it. But
Right.
um,
But we did feel. I mean, you did feel quite a bit of heat on coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
The difference between the two.
yeah,
So
it helps to have long sleeves on, even if you're just wearing like a t-shirt, right? You want to wear something cotton, right? Not anything polyester, and sometimes like on the bigger ones, we put on like they make for like welding, like a welding jacket again, which is just provides just a little bit more heat protection.
yeah.
But
So
was that it? I think,
that's what
right?
we did. Yeah.
Good. Again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Yep, Kaylee will
Thanks.
post these tomorrow so she can see
Finished products, yeah.
the finished
Yeah,
product
you can see what they
exactly,
look
see
like.
what it
Well,
looks
maybe
like.
not
So,
tomorrow.
well, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
it would be Saturday. I don't know if you guys are going to be here.
Yeah.
At least by Monday.
We're not Monday. There we go. Monday sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on Friday.
Yeah,
normally,
we're a new day, yeah.
Yeah, we had some things going on Wednesday, but we'll probably be back in a few more weeks, probably on our normal Wednesday.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.